Hey students, in first video we came to know about Nagendra. Nagendra was a orphan boy and he had no money and no home to live. But children, he was very smart and intelligent. He learned so many things seeing his father. So one day he decided to open a shop in a marketplace. For that reason, he went to the town. There he took a small place for rent and he prepared a board. On that he wrote wisdom for sale. He pasted it on his shop and he stood in front of his shop shouting wisdom for sale, good prices. You all know children, marketplace is always crowded. People were coming and they were standing in front of his shop. They were reading the board and they were seeing inside the shop, but they couldn't find anything in his shop and just they were standing and laughing at him. But Nagendra not lost his patience. He keep on shouting wisdom for sale, reasonable prices. One day children, a rich merchant's son, his name was Babu. He was a foolish boy. He came to market and he came in front of Nagendra's shop and he saw Nagendra shouting wisdom for sale, reasonable prices. That time he came and stood in front of Nagendra and asked him what is the rate for wisdom 1 kg. That time Nagendra told, I will sell wisdom by quality, not by quantity. So Babu what he did? He put a coin and he told him to give him some wisdom. That time Nagendra what he did children? He took a piece of paper and on that he wrote, it is not wise to stand and watch two people fighting. It was a very useful advice for Babu and he gave him and he told him to put in his turban cloth. And taking this, Babu came to his house and he shown to his father and his father opened that paper and he read, and what was written inside it children? It was, it is not wise to stand and watch two people fighting. Okay students, now let us see what Babu's father will do. Okay, now first I shall read this fifth para, then I shall explain it. Okay, see here. He was furious, means angry. He screamed at his son, you fool, paying a nickel for this nonsense. Everyone knows you should not stand and watch two people fighting. Then he went to the marketplace and stormed into Nagendra's shop and scolded him soundly. You scoundrel, you have cheated my son. He is a fool and you are a cheat. Return the nickel or else I will call the police. Nagendra said, if you don't want my goods, you can return it. Give me back my wisdom and you can have your money back. Gupta, the merchant, threw the scrap of paper at the boy and said, there, now give me back my money. Nagendra said, no, you have not given me back my wisdom. You have only returned the paper. If you want your money back, you will have to sign a document saying that your son will never use my advice and that he will always stand and watch people fighting. Okay students, now let us see the meaning of this para. See here. Babu's father was very angry. He started scolding his son that for this nonsense you had paid a coin. You foolish, everyone knows that we should not stand and watch people fighting. So here children, Babu's father was also not a knowledgeable person. So he not understood the value of that advice. Then he went to marketplace and started scolding Nagendra that he had cheated Babu, because you all know Babu was a foolish boy. And he scolded Nagendra to give back his money. No means he said that he will call the police. That time Nagendra said, children, if you don't want my things, you return it. I will give your money back. That time Babu's father, what he did? He threw the paper at Nagendra and he said to give his money back. But children, Nagendra said, just you had returned the paper. He said, if you want your money back, you have to sign a document that your son will never use my advice. That whenever two people were fighting, he have to stand and watch. Like this, Nagendra said to Babu's father. Okay. Okay, now let us see the sixth para. See here, the passers by supported Nagendra, so Gupta readily signed the document and took his money. He was happy that it had been easy to undo means cancel his son's foolish bargain. Okay, children, now let us see the meaning of this para. When Nagendra said Gupta to sign the document, that time passerby also supported Nagendra. Gupta didn't thought about the future. He was just seeing the present. So what he did? With hurriedly he signed the document and took his money back. And he was happy that he cancelled his son's foolish bargain. Okay, now let us see seventh para. See here. A few days passed, the king of that land had two queens who hated each other. So did their maids. They quarrelled as bitterly as their mistress. One day, each queen sent her maid to the market. The maids went to the same shop and both wanted to buy the same pumpkin. There was only one pumpkin, so they began to quarrel. Their abuses means using bad words and gestures means action were so pleased means angry that the grocer fled means escaped the place. See here, children. Now let us see the meaning of this para. See here. So many days passed in that land. The king had two queens. How many queens, children? Two queens. And the queens were hating each other. And the queens had two maids. Both maids were also hating each other. The queens and the maids are always quarreling. One day, the both queens, what they did, children? They sent their maids to the market. See here, listen here, students. Both the maids went into same shop. They wanted to buy a pumpkin, but in the shop there was only one pumpkin. So the both maids wanted that same pumpkin. Listen here, students. There were so many other things, but they wanted the same pumpkin. So for that reason they started quarreling. One maid said, I want the pumpkin. Another maid also said, I want that pumpkin only. So suddenly they started quarreling. First the quarrel started with scolding, and they both started scolding each other. Seeing this, the shopkeeper escaped from that place. Why means he don't wanted to take a risk because they were queen maids. So the shopkeeper, what he did? He left his shop and he ran away from that place. Okay, students. Next para. Next day, the king called the witness. He and his minister asked Babu various questions, but he wouldn't answer any of them. He merely babbled and uttered nonsensical syllables till the king lost his patience and drove him out of the courtroom. Babu was delighted by the success of the ruse means trick. He told everyone about Nagendra's great wisdom, which soon became a buzzword in the marketplace. See here, children, I had shown the picture of courtroom here. See here, king is sitting, minister is standing, and Babu is standing in front of the minister. And they were asking the questions. See here. Now let us see the meaning. See here. The next day, king called Babu to the courtroom, and Babu went to the courtroom, and there the minister and the king started asking him several questions. But Babu remembered Nagendra's advice, and he started acting like a mad boy. Nagendra told him that whatever they ask, you don't give the answer, just act like a mad boy. So Babu kept Nagendra's advice in his mind, and he was not ready to give any answer properly. See here, children, at last the king lost his patience, and he told his minister to throw him out of the courtroom. That time Babu was very happy, children. He was very happy because he escaped from the king's punishment. Now, see here, students, what Babu did? He started telling in front of everyone about Nagendra's wisdom. He told that Nagendra is very intelligent person. See here, like this, what Babu did? He made Nagendra's name famous in the marketplace. Okay, now let us move to next para. Okay, first I shall read, then I shall explain it. See here. Now Gupta was not pleased. He saw that his son would have to feign, means pretended madness always, or else the king would find out he had been tricked. He would certainly chop off his son's head if he found out. So back they went to Nagendra for more wisdom for another 500 rupees. Nagendra advised them, go back to the king when he is in a good mood and tell him the whole story. He will find it amusing and will forgive you. But make sure he is in a good mood of laughter. And so Babu followed the advice, found the king in a merry, means happy mood, and told him the story. The king laughed a lot and forgave him. Okay. Now let us see the meaning of this para. See here. Babu escaped from the king's punishment, but his father was not happy, students, that his son always he have to act like a mad boy, and Gupta had fear that if one day the king found that Babu had tricked the king, means the king would kill him. So once again what Gupta did, he went to Nagendra for more wisdom. That time Nagendra said, again my fee will be 500 rupees, and Gupta was ready to pay 500 rupees. So he told that whenever king is in a good mood or a happy mood, go and tell him all the story, that he will forgive you. So Babu, what he did, that he saw when about the king's mood, and when king was in a good mood, Babu followed Nagendra's advice. He went to the palace and saw king was in a happy mood, and in front of the king Babu told the whole story. That time the king started laughing loudly, and he excused Babu, and he told that you are free from my punishment. See here, students, if Gupta kept first advice of Nagendra, means today he can save his 1000 rupees and even tension also. See here, children, always we have to give respect for the knowledge. See here, first Nagendra gave for a one coin one advice, but Gupta not respected it. He quarreled with Nagendra. See, for that he have to pay 1,000 rupees. How many rupees? 1,000 rupees. So always, if anybody gives us advice, we have to respect it, because knowledge is very useful. So here students, remaining part let us discuss in next video.